Did you know there's 7 quilters guilds in Jacksonville? Neither did I, and they're all about to come together for Quiltfest 2008. Every year, Quiltfest takes place in downtown Jacksonville. Organized by the 7 sister quilt guilds from across the area, Quiltfest is a show dedicated to the art of quilting. Since its inception in 1987, the show has grown to be the largest in the Southeast, attracting nearly 5,000 attendees over a 3-day weekend.
Over the years, we've had entries from Japan, England, Denmark, all over the United States, and we have some of the finest quilts that you will see anywhere.
We focus on the quilts. We have about 425, which takes all day long if you really want to go in and look at all of them. And then we have about 65 vendors, so people who quilt can get a chance to go around and look at new merchandise and pick up some things that maybe you can't find in the local quilt shops here. It's just the best quilt show I've ever been to, and I can say that even if I am working in it, right?
Because the show is organized by the local guilds and not a major sponsor, it takes members from all 7 local quilt guilds to run the show. From St. Augustine to the Beaches, each guild, which is generally known for focusing on a different type of quilting, works throughout the year to create quilt works that are used to raise funds for various charitable organizations. In addition, they develop quilt-related activities during Quiltfest. The various guilds work well during Quiltfest, but it remains that way throughout the year. Their goal is to grow the art of quilting in our area, which has become very popular over the years.
We make a big deal in Quiltfest of making quilting popular. One of our purposes that's written is to promote the art of quilting in the area.
Any competition between the guilds is a friendly there's no real, I don't think there's we don't have not like that, no.
And we have a lot of fun. I think that's probably the most important thing. It's nice that we can all get together and be friends, you know?
Quite often, a lot of the members of one guild are a member of another guild, because I'm a member of Honeybees as well as being a River City Peacemaker. So, yeah, we all kind of blend over.
Each guild is open to new members, but with so many groups to choose from, how do you know which guild is right for you?
And the best thing to do would be just to visit. In our guild, you can visit 3 times without having to join. So 3 times would certainly let you know if you fit in, you know, with the group.
For newbies like me, it was recommended that I take a class first and then consider joining a guild. This gives me an idea of my tastes and an awareness of the different styles of quilting.
You join a guild, that's the camaraderie, that's the fellowship, that's where I learned something new, let me show you what I learned. But you won't necessarily learn your very basic.
To give me an idea of what a basic quilting class might be like, I was challenged by the River City Peacemakers to quilt a house like the one that appears on their donation quilt, which can be viewed at Quiltfest.
You are going to make a block out of a house.
Whatever you say, Mo.
So you're going to have to pick out something to be in the window, a door, your cottage fabric, a roof, and we have some blue to make a sky.
The first step was to pick my fabric, which was actually harder than it looks. The fashionista in me wanted to be bold, but match. What do I want?
Here's your sky.
Okay.
That's your sky.
Very pretty. Then I had to find a critter to fit in the window of the house.
You cut off his tail.
Okay. What about... What about this little guy here?
Oh, he's perfect. I can tell he's going to fit. Because see, he'll be perfect because he's just going to fit in that square.
This one.
When you do paper piecing, you'll have a pattern that has numbers on the pattern. You put fabric number 1 and 2 together and sew on the line between 1 and 2. Then you press it, open it, and then you put fabric 2 and 3 together and sew on the line between 2 and 3.
Because this fabric is directional. And when I say directional, it means that if you lay it this way, you need to make sure that you don't lay your other piece this way unless that's what you want to do.
Paper piecing helps you design a quilt without having to worry about seams and cutting your fabric exactly right.
So there's really no right or wrong?
Nope, not on this project. Not on this project. The only thing you want to do is make sure that you fill in each of the spaces you need to fill in.
Okay.
A couple of things that you have to remember to do when you're paper piecing is make sure you have enough fabric to cover the block that you're going to flip and sew, to make sure your fabric is placed so that when you finish sewing it, it covers the block that you need to cover with your fabric.
Okay, so I know it doesn't sound too bad, but believe me, it takes a minute to get your head around it, because you have to think in reverse. And apparently, I'm not the only one who's had trouble with this technique.
Many of us have taken those apart when it doesn't cover that.
For what seemed like only a few minutes, I pressed, I measured, I cut, and I sewed. So in just 45 minutes, I built a house, my first quilt square, my own design, and I was very proud of my creativity.
Are you ready? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh my goodness! You did it! So this is my first quilting square.
Yes.
This is very exciting.
What do I like about quilting? Just pretty much everything. There's always something new to learn. There's always a different technique. And then when you give a quilt to somebody that you've made for them, it's a rush.
I like the sewing process, the design process, because it's just relaxing.
I really don't like to sew, but I'm very creative. I like to be able to take things and make something out of it. So I can get out there with the color and the textures and make things that are neat and expressive.
Quiltfest 2008 takes place September 25th through the 27th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. For more information, visit the event's website at www.quiltfestjax.com or check out my blog at jacksonville.com/Amanda. So even you can be part of a beautiful quilt like this. I was. For Jacksonville.com, I'm Amanda Warford.